What is instructional design? How would you define instructional design? Think of what you say when friends or family members ask, "So what exactly is it that you're doing?" Officially, we define instructional design as a process of identifying performance, skills, knowledge, information, and attitude gaps of a targeted audience and creating, selecting, or suggesting learning experiences that close these gaps using evidence-based learning theories and best practices from the field. Phew! Which terms jump out at you? Take a moment and write your own plain English definition of instructional design. So, in simple terms, we, instructional designers, create learning experiences and solutions to solve business challenges that include knowledge, skill, and attitude gaps. Those solutions might be delivered through online learning, or it might be a job aid, a resource, or a knowledge base that we develop to solve a business challenge. So you're probably wondering, but what does it look like? What does an instructional designer do? Let's walk through the entire process and check out some examples. As instructional designers, our very first step is to identify the specific business challenge we're working to solve. What is the problem or performance gap, and what is causing it? To pinpoint the business challenge and begin crafting a solution, you'll start by conducting interviews with stakeholders. Your stakeholders include everyone involved in the project: companies, managers, the decision makers, as well as subject matter experts, and of course, learners. Once you've worked with stakeholders to identify the business challenge, your next step is to connect with your subject matter expert. Remember, you don't need to be an expert on the topic that you're creating training solutions for. That's where the subject matter experts, or SMEs, come in. You, the instructional designer, will get assigned a subject matter expert, pronounced SME, who allows you to mine their expertise in order to create a learning solution. Of course, you will interview your SME and ask guided questions, but often the SME will also give you a content dump of all the information relevant to your topic. It may be in the form of some kind of PowerPoint, and they just sort of dump it on you. Here's an example of what information usually looks like from a subject matter expert. Obviously, this does not make a course. Your job is to review all of this information and say, okay, what are we going to do with this? How can we structure this information? How are we going to organize it into a meaningful course? You may realize at this point that you have follow-up questions or that you need more information or clarity from your SME. Armed with information from your SME and other stakeholders, you then create an outline to map out your instructional plan that identifies the structure, pacing, order, and learning strategies your training will include. You've probably created outlines for school papers. Your course outline works pretty much the same way, organized with headings for the main topics and subheadings to identify the elements that will be covered under each main topic, just like you see in this example. From the outline, you will then create a blueprint for the entire training solution, the instructional design document. Now you're ready to plan the entire course. The instructional design document allows you to illustrate for your stakeholders the solution you've developed for their business challenge. Stakeholders will need to sign off on your plan before you begin to fully develop your course. Your instructional design document identifies the project budget, context, performance objectives, and learner profiles for the course. This document provides the structure, navigation, audio, and visual design elements that you incorporate into your final training solution, as well as the learning and assessment strategies your course uses to ensure that learners achieve the course objectives. Once stakeholders sign off on your instructional plan, you will flesh out your instructional plan through full scripts with learning activities identified. The script is somewhat broad, and the length and format will depend on what kind of medium you're using. You may be creating a script for an instructor-led training for e-learning or narration for a video. This is an example of one of our internal narration scripts. Here you can see the module title, the scripted narration, and visual notes. Next, if you are developing e-learning but are not yourself the developer, you will create a storyboard that will serve as your complete instructions for the e-learning development. Your storyboard will include the complete outline for your course, the voiceover script, on-screen text, navigation, interactions, and notes for the developer. Here is an example storyboard for an animated Vyond video. The instructional designer has specified the module, titles, what the screen will look like, that the slide is going to play automatically, and even where to zoom. Your storyboard is a step-by-step, frame-by-frame set of instructions so the developer can bring your course vision to life. From the storyboard, you create a visual guide, which we call a prototype or a preliminary model. The prototype is where the design team translates their ideas from paper and text to a digital format. There are different types of fidelity prototypes. In reality, a low-fidelity prototype could be as simple as ideas and sketches on sticky notes. But more often in the idle world, when we're talking about prototypes, we're talking about a digital model that captures the look and feel and function of the full course. The purpose of the prototype is to offer the full concept of the course in order to receive stakeholder feedback before the full course is finalized. And finally, you will create your full course solution. This example e-learning course was built in Articulate Storyline. From here, you may also be tasked to develop resources like job aids, facilitator guides, slide decks, and other learning materials. Now that you've got a sense of an IDLE's process, which aspect excites you the most? Is it designing solutions and problem solving? Is it writing scripts and storyboards? Developing the e-learning? Which parts of the process seem intimidating or less than exciting? Many IDLEs confess trepidation about writing scripts and storyboards. It's important to be brutally honest. Being an instructional designer is a lot of work, and there are not a lot of IDLE jobs that don't require some degree of outlining, scripting, or storyboarding. If you enjoyed doing homework in school and in college, then instructional design is absolutely for you. If you do not like writing scripts, conducting analysis, organizing information, then these parts of the job may prove challenging for you. Many IDLEs report being most excited about problem solving, which is an excellent place to start. If you find joy in designing solutions for problems, then you'll probably enjoy being an IDLE.